1. Mr. Speaker, ladies and gentlemen, what happens on side proposition is that you wear rose-tinted glasses and all of these red flags just become flags. Like what my partner mentioned, not every crush we experience or have in our life is going to meaningfully change the direction or course of what our life is supposed to be. We on opposition stand for looking at relationships and giving meaning to things through a hierarchy because it's about quality over quantity when truly helping young children and people who are going through puberty in their formative years an ability to be able to truly understand what it necessarily means to be able to be happy. Don't worry, I'm timing myself. I'm at 55 seconds. I'll stop at 7 minutes. So, a few things I have to say coming from Specund speech. Number one, opening government's impact is not exclusive with the mechanism or policy that they provide. Like what we mentioned from first speech, this debate is not about validating or invalidating crushes and relationships. The nuance to this debate is the meaning that we allow states and parents and counselors and teachers to ascribe to particular experiences that children have. That is to say, there are specific reasons that we don't give way too much meaning to kids' imaginary friends or kids' random ideas or all these other things that exist in their imagination or in their own perception. That is to say, I don't want side proposition to just gaslight us and say, oh bro, they won't be able to grow anymore because you're invalidating their experiences, blah, 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 blah. On our side, we still stand for genuine positive relationships. And ironically enough, that can only happen when you're able to find the meaning amidst the superficial. When you're able to persevere and be able to court and pursue your crush despite society telling you that, hey man, you should be skeptical of that because this just might be fleeting. And in many instances, in the majority of cases, especially those people going through puberty, it doesn't mean shit. But, like what my partner mentioned, when you actually choose to transcend that crush and actually enter into some meaningful form of courtship, whether you're accepted or rejected, is exactly where the magic happens. And that doesn't happen when you necessarily lower the barrier of telling people what is meaningful. Because the perverse harm and the perverse incentive that my partner mentioned is this. It's that if you give too much meaning to crushes at its infancy, you actually make it more difficult for people to actually move on when they actually become rejected or they become ignored or this becomes an unrequited, one-sided, weird, parasocial situationship kind of thing. Because when you overly give so much meaning trying to psychoanalyze every single definition, you overly telegraph and make it so psychologically important that you put these very people in their formative years at a position of disadvantage when externalities or other people like the hot girl in chemistry class or the handsome jock in their school now have power over them. Oh bro, yeah, this eye contact thing, or he didn't give me a Valentine's Day gift. You put so much meaning into things that actually make people actually more selfish and egotistic to the point that it becomes so selfish and all about me, me, me. And you eventually develop this whole victim mindset that puts you at the center of the universe, wherein everything that happens around you is specifically targeted towards you and at you. But in many cases, the crush that you had, who people in many instances don't know you exist, are probably just for whatever reason. People don't like you and it's not necessarily a personal attack, but on your side, when you put all of these gymnastics that counselors and psychologists have to go through, make it harder for people to get in touch with reality. Opening government. Shoot, go for it.
How exactly, on your side, is a child who's never stumbled into a bad relationship or a bad crush supposed to suddenly identify what a meaningful courtship is?
when we tell these people that, oh, that crush or cartoon you see on TV or that girl in grade 1, this is just a crush. That's something normal, but it's just a crush. But on both sides of the house, people go through puberty and go through experiences. And through these experiences, when they realize that this is something more you can actually get meaning from, closing government. I'll take you. Go.
On the same thing, even after 6 months of realizing that I still have meaningful feelings for a girl, in theory, that is still going to be a crush. So how do we navigate out of
Yeah,
it?
like obviously on both sides, we can give some degree of meaning to these things, and like obviously every crush or every relationship at some point was a crush. What I'm saying that on our side, when we lower the definition of what it necessarily means to the point that we say, or we make it higher rather, right? Like we make it higher what something of value is, you're able to now differentiate the crushes from just crushes, and this person you actually want to be with or you actually want to go for. That's what my partner was also mentioning in their analysis, right? Meaning, when society tells you that's just a crush, there is no meaning in that. And when you, out of your own freedom and volition, choose to talk to that person despite there potentially not being a chance, or you choosing to be able to court that person despite people telling you that, oh, you're just thinking with your southern region, it's exactly where you go through that visceral experience of how it's like, and it becomes even more genuine to the point that you're able to live in that experience without all of these asserted principles of what a particular relationship should be, which happens on side proposition. The state, your parents, counselors, teachers, people no longer have the power to use their own subjective norms in terms of shoving in your face what the definition of a true relationship is and what these things should be and what it looks like. Ladies and gentlemen, on our side, there is more uncertainty. Sure, people can still fail, but at least people are able to go through the motions of what it's like to have a crush and allow that to blossom into a relationship through their own capacities and volition. When people say no, we are very proud to stand on side Neg.